Hello, welcome to Revive Hi-Fi Canada, and today we have a speaker feature of the Mission M71 bookshelf speakers, and right off the top to summarize, these are pretty decent. I reviewed a few missions on the channel. If I recall correctly, the Mission 760, Mission M70, and this is now the Mission M71. We also did the Mission 731. These are a little newer compared to the Mission 760 and 731. These have the M in front of the model name, so these are a little different, but they actually still retain that Mission look of having the woofer on top of the tweeter. So they have the inverted compared to the traditional tweeter usually being on top. The build quality on these, it's alright, I would say. It's pretty decent. The cabinet is okay in terms of bracing. They are a two-way speaker, of course. Bookshelf speaker, are about 11.5 inches tall by 6.5 inches wide by about 10.75 inches deep. So they have more of that traditional, closer to what we're looking at into many of today's speakers, where they have the 5-inch woofer inside a cabinet that is quite deep, and that's, in my opinion, to keep the bass pretty decent for a smaller driver. It gives it more of like a cannon of bass shooting out of a rear ported speaker. So again, this is a rear ported speaker. The cabinet is, as I mentioned earlier, is well braced. It's got a black vinyl wrap. I like the front baffle on these. It's got kind of a nice striped look to it. It has a plastic plate that has the drivers mounted on underneath, and it's got a pretty clean look. They don't look bad at all. The woofer is a 5.25-inch woofer. It is bonded woven glass cone woofer. I'm not particularly familiar with that material, but I can say that when I touch the woofer, it has quite a unique feel to it. It must be kind of a lighter type of material. It also has a microfiber tweeter, a 1-inch microfiber soft dome tweeter. It has a crossover frequency of 2.8 kilohertz. It has a rated frequency response plus 3 or minus 3 dB of 65 hertz to 20 kilohertz, a sensitivity of 88 dB. So being an 8 ohm speaker, it's pretty easy to drive. So I tried these on the desktop. I tried these in the front of a home theater. I've tried these just 2-channel without a sub, and they're all right, actually. I wouldn't say they're the greatest speaker I've ever heard, for sure, but they're actually pretty decent, these speakers, and they're pretty pleasant to listen to. They're a little bit less forward than, say, the Mission 731 that I've reviewed before, as well as even the Mission M70 is pretty decent for it was a much smaller version of a similar type of speaker than this Mission M71. The Mission 760 was a bit more of a softer sound, actually, on the soft dome, so it was pretty decent. It's quite nice, actually, to listen to. And let's start with the highs. The highs are still leaning forward, I would say, on these speakers. A bit more of a in-your-face type of sound that that at least some of the Mission speakers that I listen to are going for. These are also a kind of a the mids are I mean, most of these British design or British made and manufactured speakers, the mids tend to be very good, and of course voices come through very well on these speakers. The lows, I would say, it's rated to 65 hertz. That's pretty accurate. You're not going to get any type of significant bass especially lower than 50 on these. It's not, compared to some of the other smaller speakers that I have, they tend to go lower, and even at comparable 12-inch height sizes and the same depth. So that is not quite as good as I would hoped. That for a speaker that's about almost 11 inches deep, I was hoping for a little bit more bass in that cabinet, but it's not there. So it is what it is. But again, it doesn't take away from the accuracy of the sound that the speaker's producing, as well as the type of tone that it has. It is a nice timbre, it's got a nice tone to it. It's just, I would say that it leans towards being a bit more forward in terms of its sound. Not quite as forward, of course, as the Mission 731 that I used. It's a pleasant speaker. They're biampable. They have nice binding posts in the back. All around, I would call this a good all-rounder, is what I would say. But just a little bit lacking in the bass. I would use these with a sub because I don't find it has a ton down low. It's comparable, I would say, down low to what I found with the Mission M70. So that's a much smaller speaker. So this is a little bit more, of course, but it's still not that much. So I would definitely recommend using these with a sub, and that's the case with many small speakers of this size. Yeah, it's a really decent speaker, but it's definitely Mission style. May or may not be my cup of tea, but I do enjoy listening to many of their speakers. I wouldn't classify them as some of my keeper series, but in some of them might be, I would say. I did enjoy listening to Mission 751, but this is the Mission and the Mission M51, which I will feature later on the channel. But this is the Mission M71, and it's not bad, but I wouldn't. It's nothing I would extremely write home about, at least in my opinion, after listening to many other speakers that we've had on the channel. But it's decent, I would say. It's right there with many of the others that would be that were in this segment, especially at the time when these were made. I think early 2000s, if I recall, or late 90s, if I recall correctly. So soundstage is pretty good. It's pretty wide, I would say. It's not bad. They don't sound small. Let's just put it that way. Just the bass may be slightly lacking, but the mids and the highs spread pretty far, and the imaging is pretty decent as well. They're not inaccurate, that's for sure. They're pretty accurate. They find the details in the music, so they're pretty good. If you pair them up with a stronger amp, they tend to do quite a bit better even. So we've got it paired here with an NAD C740, so not the most powerful amp, but I kind of did that on purpose. The NAD is a very neutral sounding amp, and leaning sort of towards warmer, and they work pretty well with the NAD, and I like it. We'll be playing a little sound sample here, so thank you again for watching, and I hope that you enjoy these videos, getting a little information about what's out there, maybe on the new market in your area, and getting more interested in this awesome audio hobby that we love and enjoy. So thank you for watching, and if you do appreciate these videos, please subscribe. See you again next time on Revive Hi-Fi Canada. Bye now. you can hear, the bass that is there is pretty decent and very tight. So it's not completely bass anemic, but not bad at all. But still, yeah, it's not bad to say that compared to other speakers in this sort of size and with this size of woofer. I was hoping a bit lower than 60. Revive Hi-Fi Canada, and I'll see you next time.